Yo, my name's Nanu, and today we're going to be talking about why I don't train my autoflowers anymore. And the real reason? Because I'm lazy. Welcome to Nanu's Flowers, where we talk everything cultivation, post-harvest, and more. And today we're going to be talking about why I don't train my autoflowers anymore. Now, as someone who's grown autoflowers for a long time, mainly from the beginning as someone who was kind of following that myth of, autoflowers being great for beginners, and I definitely noticed very quickly that they're completely unforgiving compared to photoperiod. So with autoflowers, you want to make sure that you have that optimal environment right from the jump. Now, when it comes to humidity, VPD, everything else, everything needs to be spot on. You want to make sure that your watering is spot on too. And with watering, it's hard to know how to get the exact amount of water that your plant's looking for. So the best way that I've learned to mitigate that issue is autopots. Autopots or any auto watering irrigation system will work fantastic in terms of making sure that you get that proper watering that you're looking for during your veg cycle, and so that your autoflowers can thrive to their maximum potential. Now you might be wondering, what does watering have to do with training? Well, I've tried LST, I've tried HST, I've tried topping, I've tried bending, you name it. And I've noticed that none of those really make ultimately that much of a difference, rather than your environment and how much you're watering or how little you're watering. And making sure that you get that proper watering makes a huge difference. Now, with auto pots, one thing that was a big difference for me was that I noticed a lot more branching. Your autoflower is going to thrive more because they're getting that proper watering, and therefore the explosive growth is so much more explosive when that happens between that pre-flower period to flowering. You're going to notice a lot more growth. It can be pretty aggressive actually with auto pots, but it makes a huge difference in terms of your yield, and you're not really sacrificing quality for yield in this situation, because all you're doing is making sure that your autoflowers get that proper environment. You're not increasing biomass over trichome or terpene production. You're really making sure that you're just benefiting your plants to the maximum that you can. Now, with that more aggressive branching, you're also seeing more of an even canopy to where your other branches are meeting up with your main cola, and that's a huge benefit in terms of your light exposure. You're making sure that you're not getting any larvae material, and you're making sure that all of your colas get that similar light exposure to that main cola, so that you're not seeing one giant cola and then kind of like the smaller ones on the side. You're seeing pretty much an even spread throughout the canopy, and that's something that I truly love, especially not having to train myself. Now, I do end up doing a little bit like leaf tucking, kind of pushing branches into certain directions to make sure that I'm getting them to grow where I want them to, but I'm not really bending anything. I'm not tying anything down. I'm not doing anything like that. It takes me like a couple seconds to do what I do. But really what I do is make sure that my reservoir is filled and that my plants have access to the water that they can get to when they need it. And that makes a huge difference. So that's why I stopped training my autoflowers. I know as someone with 2 jobs myself, it can be tough to constantly be in your tent making sure that everything's going a certain way and stuff, and the more hands-off that I can be, the better. And I know a lot of people out there have kids, have other obligations, long hours, and so I hope that this information does help whoever it comes across, and that we can all grow our own medicine and have an abundance of it to where we can share, and we can be more than satisfied with what we have. Now, if you like content like this, I really appreciate if you guys like, comment, and potentially subscribe. There's definitely more coming. I'm going to be covering a lot of bases in terms of just cultivation, everything to do with the plant, and more. Hope y'all have a good one. Peace.